Hi friends, this is Denario Research and welcome to the part number 14 of cryptocurrency trading bot tutorial. In previous videos we have implemented almost all components of the event loop except trade executor. But before we start execute real trades and work with real data, we have to optimize our strategy by adjusting parameters of our trading bot. There are many optimization algorithms, but we'll use the simplest one, like iteration through multiple parameters and picking the most profitable parameters. Let's look at our strategy optimization goal. So eventually, we have to maximize our profit. In this case, profit is some function with multiple parameters. Like we can assume that A1 is moving average, period, this is ADX, period, this is ATR, period, and so on and so forth. So, and our profit function may look like this. So we have to iterate through this combination of different parameters and find the maximum value of profit function. And once we find this value, we'll use these new parameters values in live trading. In this video I will show you optimization of only two parameters. They are moving average and ADX. But you will get enough understanding on how to optimize the remaining parameters. Well, in our case, moving average is represented as the array with 5 values like 10, 20, 50, 100 and 200. These values are popular moving average values. And ADX is represented as the array with 4 values like 15, 20, 25 and 30. That means that in total we'll have 5 multiplied by 4, 20 tests or 20 iterations. And we'll loop through all these combinations, so we'll run 20 iterations and try to find out which combination of these parameters works best for our strategy. Probably you may have a question, why don't we simply loop from 15 to 30 with a step 1, like take 15, 16, 17 and so on values. And this may help us to get more precise parameters. But unfortunately we'll create a big problem for ourselves, and this problem is called overfitting. We use some specific data set for our strategy optimization and backtesting. And our goal today is to find parameters where profit has a maximum value on this specific data set. But if our parameters will be too good and will fit perfectly this data set, that means that with high probability these parameters will have a horrible performance on the other data set. So that's mean overfitting. And that is why we do not make some precise estimation for our parameters. So basically today we have just two tasks, like optimize moving average periods and optimize ADX periods. So let's do that. Because optimization code won't be used in the future, so let's make a copy of app.js and manager.js. App.js, and let's copy in the same folder and call this file app optimize.js. And let's do the same with manager.js, which contains all application logic. JS manager optimize.js. Good. So now let's open Sublime and edit these files. We have to make a small change in app.opt.js. This change is very simple. Instead of importing manager.js, we'll import new file manager.opt.js. That is all. Now let's open a manager opt.js and start to work with it. Firstly, we'll optimize moving average periods, and then we'll do the same with ADX periods. So instead of this constant, we'll create an array. This array will contain following elements like 10, 20, 50, 100, and 200. Also, we have to create two more variables. The first one is the best moving average value. Let's call it best moving average, and we'll assign it value to 0. And the second one is the highest profit value. Let's call it max amount, and also assign this value 0. Okay, good. Now we have to create a separate function which will initialize our pairs object. Let's call this function init pairs. Let's make it empty parameters build for now, and we'll simply copy all of this text here. Well, for now, manager object initialization will be empty, and we'll use this function in different place. As the input parameter, we'll add moving average period. And we'll use this variable to initialize new moving average object. Well, now we have to add init pairs variable into runBot function. Let's copy function's header and insert it somewhere in between these rows. So firstly we'll read our data set, and then we'll initialize pairs. Now we have to include all these rows into for loop. It will look in the following way: for moving average period of moving average period array, moving average periods. So what does it mean? We'll iterate through this array. We'll pick a value like 10, 20, 50, and so on, and we'll use this value for initialization of pairs object, and we'll run all our code. So we'll make some backtesting on this data set. So once we complete this backtesting, we'll initialize again our pairs object and run backtesting again. But before we start any backtesting, we'll have to reset some extra variables. So we need to reset these true variables like open position, success, and loss after each iteration. Let's reset them in this loop. Also, we have the fixed rate object, and after each iteration we have to reset init amount and set the reserve value empty object. So let's copy this as well. And change this with BFX. So before we start any iteration, we initialize pairs object with moving average period from moving average periods array, we reset all variables like open position, success, loss. As well, we reset init amount and reserve. That's all. So all variables we have to reset. Now we can create some text comment in order to know when we start each iteration. Console log and have some text like starting backtesting. Also, let's add some delimiter. Okay, good. At the end of each iteration, we have to calculate final amount. So this final amount will have condition in case we have opened position and in case we do not have any opened position in the end of the iteration. So if opened position equals to 0, final amount simply equals to the BFX init amount. Otherwise, our final amount equals to BFX init amount, and we have to iterate through the pairs object and find every opened position and get amount in bitcoins and add this amount to final amount variable. So we'll for pair in pairs. We'll get final amount equals to pairs pair entry amount multiplied by entry price. Let's copy this. Entry price. So when we have no opened positions, our BFX init amount is actually our final amount. If in case we have some open positions, we have to add to the open positions amount to the BFX init amount. That is how we get final amount. Now we can find moving average periods value that maximizes our profit. So we have to compare final amount with max amount. So if final amount is greater than max amount, that means that current MA period value is the best and it maximizes our profit. So best MA equals to MA period, as well as max amount equals to final amount. Let's print these values. Console log best MA value and max amount value. Okay, now we have to fix some potential bug in update indicators function. We start moving average periods from the value of 10 and ATX and ATR start from 14. This may cause some not a number or other problems. So in order to avoid this, let's do the following. let's create a condition. So if moving average value not equals to undefined and ADX value also not equals to undefined, and ATR value also does not equal to undefined, and include all this code into this condition. So before we start trading, we check whether our moving average ADX and ATR are not equals to undefined values. If everything is okay, we initialize, or we call function find trade opportunity. And finally, we have to remove or comment all these informative messages because they will be destructive for our optimization test. Let's comment here as well, here as well, here, and somewhere at the bottom here. Well, now we can save code and try to run it. Node f.js. As you see, the best moving average periods value equals to 50, and it helps us to make 177 Bitcoin, so which is 77% of profit. That's not bad. Now let's optimize ADX periods value. In order to do that, let's also create an array for ADX periods. Okay, like we discussed, we'll start with 15, 20, 25, and 30. And we'll add extra input parameter to the init pairs function. It would be ADX period, and we'll use this ADX period in order to initialize ADX object. Also, we have to wrap this loop into another one which will iterate through ADX periods. So let's create outer loop for ADX period of ADX periods. Let's add ADX period here and close this loop here. Let's make a tab. Also, we have to create variable best ADX, but let's assign it here and we'll create it later. Best ADX equals to ADX period, and we'll print the best ADX. Best ADX, and create best ADX here, which equals to 0. So now let's save and run the code again. Okay, let's run node.js and wait until test finishes. Well, the best ADX and moving average combination is 15 periods for ADX and 50 periods for moving average. According to our optimization test, it is the best combination which helps us to maximize profit. Well, let's use these values and insert them into manager optimized file. Instead of moving average periods 20, we'll use 50, and ADX periods we'll use 15. Let's hit save and run optimized code. Node app optimized.js. Let's see its performance. Definitely it is not 177 bitcoins that we had in optimization test. That means that there are some errors in our test and we have to fix them. So I have made two errors actually. The first one, I forgot to add plus sign in this case. So we did just updated final amount with entry amount multiplied by entry price. Instead we have to add these values, this multiplication result actually, to the final amount. And the second error, I have to remove all these vars, because in this case we create some local variables that are not accessible outside of this function. So now we can save and run optimization code again. Node app.js. Let's see what we'll have in result. Well, our strategy performance is not good as was in the previous case, but it is more realistic. So the best combination of moving average and ADX is 200 periods for moving average and 15 periods for ADX. Let's put these values into manager optimized. So we have ADX 15 periods, and let's make moving average periods equal to 200. Let's save and run code. Node app optimized. Well, more or less we have expected result. 89 bitcoins, so 87 currently, and 2 positions opened, which will give us approximately 89 bitcoins. That's all for today. Actually, you may use this optimization algorithm in order to optimize ATR periods, trends, which is very important parameter, account risk coefficient, and other parameters, which will give you probably more profitable strategy than we have currently. So let's go to Trello and close our tasks. Let's move into the Done tab. And close it. In the next video I will show you how to work with live data, WebSockets, or HTTP post and get requests. Also, I will show you how to upload your bot into the cloud. Thumbs up if you like this video, subscribe to my channel if you want more videos, and leave your questions in the comment section below. Bye!